Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the SAP Business by Design supply chain training. So far, we've been working on the purchase order document, and we've been able to cover the purchase order for service, where we analyze the purchase order for service document that was generated from the shopping cart. We analyzed the scenario where the shopping cart um, generated a purchase request document, and from the purchase request, a purchase order document was created. So, in the last episode, we also cover purchase order for material, where we use the direct purchase request for material to create a request for material. And in the last episode, we actually converted the purchase request document to a purchase order. And it was actually a detailed session where we captured some of the very important information about purchase request, including the approval stages of those requests. And also, we actually promised to create a direct purchase request, direct purchase order, and uh, for material, and also direct purchase order for service. Okay, so we're going to log into the demo and complete the session of that aspect for creating a purchase order for direct service, purchase order for procuring direct material. All right, so I'm going to log into the system, and I'm logged in as the administrator. So, like usual, we need to navigate to the purchase order, purchase request and order work center and select the purchase orders. So here it's straightforward. What we just need to do is to click on the all purchase orders to get the list of all the purchase orders in the system. Okay, so we have some of the action button here. So if you click on the new action button, you can click on new purchase order. So in the new purchase order, we need to define the supplier, like supplier. So we created the supplier in our other section. So still going to use that same supplier. And like I usually say, I love to use the view all button. Okay, so here in the view all button, we need to start adding the items. So in the item tab, we're going to start adding the item rows. So when I click on the add row, and mind you, you can add an item from the purchase request document. So if you click on the purchase request document, the system is going to pull the item information from that document. Okay, so the first item I'm going to set, the first row, I'm going to set the process type as non-stock, but we're going to use the same item we created. So I'm going to select the first HP as a non-stock item. So we are going to treat this as a non-stock item. So I'm going to add another row, and the system is choosing to stop. But if I choose this item, I can change it to non-stock. The system is going to select the process type as a stockable item. So if I select the process type, I can change it to non-stock. Okay, so the third row is going to actually be a service. So I'm going to select the service as the sub. So for me to do that, I need to change the item type to be a service. So you can select an expense. So if this item or material you are procuring, you're about to procure is for an expense, you need to determine if it's an expense. So if for the limit, if the system you don't understand or you don't have an accurate quantity or limit of what you are about to procure, then you can set the limit here. So I'm going to select the service. So and you can see the system automatically change this to service. So I'm going to choose from the list of service that has been created before. Okay, so we have three. services that are created. The laptop repairs, we've used that before. I'm going to select the second service just to change the information. So here for the stock item, we need to select the logistic location and we need to define the quantity. So I'm choosing one. Then I can select one for this as well. And for the number of hours, I can choose maybe two. We need to measure for that. So we can see that we don't have the information here for the pricing, and but the system should be able to derive that information from the contract that is going to be binding this material that you selected. So if you look at the source of supply, from here we can choose a contract for any of the items. So if I select this, you can see that a contract is actually selected. So we have those informations here. Okay, so the pricing information are not yet determined because we need to pick those pricing information from the contract. So if we click on the check button, we should have some errors, I guess, yes. And these errors are actually based on some of the information we have here, like we've not determined the price. So if you go back to the general data, we can see that the currency we are currently using is actually euro. But for the supplier we created, we the default currency we set for this supplier is actually in naira. Okay, so because this recording is from Nigeria. Okay, so I need to change this currency for the purchase order to naira. So and please note you can also change the currency of your purchase order to any currency, irrespective of the currency you are currently using. So the reason why we are getting that error initially is because of the currency. So if you click on the check button again, the system is going to require an exchange rate for each price. So so you can see error during currency conversion from euro to naira at this date. So I need to change the currency back to NGN. So you need to note the currency conversion. So if I check the error again, okay, now we have missing price information and address location. Then the ordered quantity information. So we need to go to those items. So this is the reason, one of the reasons why this all this information are very important. Okay, so we can add a gross price for the system. Although if you look at the net price here, you can see that because we changed the currency to naira, the prices have already been assigned and the system is picking those prices from that information. But that doesn't mean we can't equally set the same price for this item. So I'm going to set the same price for it. And the second is going to be 620, okay, so let's just set the price information. So one very important information about all the three process type that we are working on in this purchase order is the information, the relevant information that guides them. So if you select the first item, which is the process type for to stock, which means we want to have this item in our stock, we want to have them stored in our inventory. The information that is relevant to this information are the general information and the follow-up document, which is the goods and service receipt, which are expected, and the invoice, which is expected. I believe we've covered this information in the past episode. Then delivery schedule, can set the delivery schedule, the pricing information, which is also going to be generated automatically by the system. Then we have the task history, the delivery, which is already set because of the fact that we choose this storage location, and the address information is set. Then the source of supply and the planning and document flow and so on. But for the non-stock item, there are some things that we need to do. So if we click on the basic data, you can see that the goods and service receipt is expected is not checked. So if we are not confirming the goods and service, or if we are not confirming the delivery of this item, then we don't need to use this checkbox. We can only select the invoice expected if we are expecting an invoice, and also if we are expecting an acknowledgement for this purchase order, we can do that. So, but very important is when you are creating a purchase order for a non-stock process type or a service process type, when you are creating a direct purchase request for this kind of procurement, we need to be cognizant of the account assignment. And very important, the reason why I'm mentioning this account assignment is because you need to define the account assignment type. So let's say this non-stock item is going to be used for a project. So you need to define the cost center for that project. So let's say it's actually a cost center. You need to include it. If it's for a project, you need to define the project task. So you can see the system will need to prompt you to, enter assign the item to that project by clicking on the project. So these are the list of the projects that can be assigned to this non-stock item. So like I said, you can create in a non-stock purchase order process type for a specific project or for a cost center. So if the cost center the cost center can actually be a department. If the department are actually going to be consuming that material or service, then you can assign it to them. But if it's basically for a project, then you can assign it to that project, and the system is going to treat it as such. Then, if there are sales order document that you need to link to this document, then you can link it as well. Then, if there is a GL account that you want this to go to direct, because there can be different general ledger for different project task or project that is ongoing currently. So you can see the quantity and the net value for that. But if it's actually for a cost center, you can have other information like customer contract, individual material, sales order, service order, and probably other account assignments that you can think of, or you can just assign it to a general ledger only. So if you assign it to a general ledger, the system is going to treat it as a general ledger transaction. So you just need to pick the general ledger, the GL that it belongs to. So this is a list of GL that you can expense in the system. So like travel expense, lodging, meal, entertainment, and so on. So you can just assign it to a general ledger. But in this case, we are going to use the cost center feature. Okay, so I'm just going to pick a cost center. So the cost center can be a department, or it can be it can just be a department. So I'm just going to pick the finance department for this. Okay, so I can, from the general ledger, I can pick any GL that we can, post this transaction to. So in this case, I'm just going to pick the general expense. Okay, all informations are good. That's for the non-stock. So if I select the service, I'll do the same thing for the service. So I'm going to pick the cost center, and from the cost center, I'm just going to pick the department. Then we can select the general ledger, the GL that we want to post this transaction to. So all this information are necessary for account department. So, or the procurement department, whoever is handling the procurement processes. So, it's very important you understand all these processes. And this is important because there are series of errors that has been generated from my experience in the past because of some of these transactions that people will just post a transaction without knowing the impact of these transactions. All right. So next, I'm just going to do some series of check to confirm if we are on point. Okay, so I'm going to click on the check button and let's see if we have any error. So the same error, target quantity of the contract exceeded, so we can ignore. So you can see here the system is saying there are no errors in the purchase request, so, which means we can click on the order button to send it for probably an approval if the system perform its check, its thorough check for any of the document that requires an approval. So if you click on the approval flow, let's see. I'm sure for now the system cannot determine if we have an approval, and if it does, the system is going to prompt the person who is going to be responsible for the approval. Okay, so the same applies. The Lacy is actually going to be the person to approve this. These are the list of items that needs to be approved, and we can go ahead with the approval process. So I'm going to log out now and continue in the next and continue later after that. So, but before I log out, I need to release this transaction so we can see the purchase order document that is going to be generated. Okay, so the data is saving and order 929 is actually generated. So we can refresh the system to see the order. So here we can see that the order status is now in approval. We can see the total net value of the item. So if we click on the purchase order documents, we can see the list of items. So I'm going to log out and log in as the finance, the CFO finance. So I'm going to log in as the finance account. Okay, so I'm logged in as the finance. So the next is to navigate to the Manage My Area Work Center. And for the Manage My Area, I click on the approvals to see the list of approvals that I have. Okay, so from the list of uh, the document to be approved, we have the purchase order 929 document that is going to be approved. So I'm going to click on it. So let's see the information we have there. Okay, so these are the list of the information we have here. So we have all the material here, the first material, the second material, and the service. Okay, so I'm just going to click the approve. And you can see the approved status is completed, and we can proceed with the, and automatically the order is going to be sent to the supplier. So let's log out now and log in as the administrator to see what has been done so far. So I'm going to restart the application. So I'm logging in as the administrator now. And we need to navigate to the purchase request and orders. So let's confirm the status of the purchase request and order we just approved. Okay, so let's navigate to all purchase orders and go to purchase order 929. So let's see what happens. So we can see that the order status has been sent. So, but if we need to make changes on the update, or we need to do other configuration, we can just click on the order ID and go straight into the order and make changes to any of the information that has been sent. So if we click on the view all, okay, so we can see those information like the material, the general information, the item informations, and for each item. So for the non-stock item, we're not selecting the goods and services expected. Then for the service as well, you can see the information that is assigned and every other information like the approval information, who is responsible for approving. Okay, so the analyzing and you can see that the status is approved. Okay, um, so this will mean the end of this session. I would like to seize this opportunity to thank you all for watching. If you have any question or you need any help or assistance with any of the training we've been doing so far, please shoot your question in the comment section. And we'll appreciate if you will do us a favor by liking and sharing this video. If this video has helped you in any way or has improved your skills in the SAP Business by Design supply chain training. And we also would like you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. This will give us that zeal to, you know, produce and, share or upload more SAP products, training products. We can also help us to support this channel by mentioning this channel in every of your social media platforms. All right, so this will mean the end of today's session. Thank you for watching and see you in the next episode. Thank you. Bye for now.